Court, Polk County, 10 a.m. at the Polk County Regional Health Building, Suite A. At this time, if you would, please make sure that you shut off any electronics or other devices. And we would like to ask Lyndall Mitchell to please lead us in prayer.
Would you bow with me? Our Father, we give thanks for this beautiful day, for the moderation of the weather. We're grateful, and the daily care that you provide for us that we too often take for granted. We're thankful for this body that comes together, for all of the first responders, law enforcement personnel, and the functionaries that make this place work, and for our elected officials. We pray that you would be with us all, and would always conduct ourselves in a way that reflects well upon our community. We're thankful for your son, Jesus, and we ask you to help us be like him. For it's in his name that we pray, and amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Lyndall. That was a very nice service for Amy.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
He was a good man.
Yes, he was. Anyone sign up for public comment? Thank you. Mr. Baxter, Keith Baxter. He must have just come for the hearing.
Yeah, he was going here this morning.
And Mr. Lambeth.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Billy.
Good morning, thank you.
Come on up.
I just want to give you a update on the goose report at Lakeside Village. Since January, the animal control has done nothing that I can tell. They're still there, pooping on the driveway and parking area. And I'm still complaining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, we have two proclamations, or two organizations that we're going to recognize today. Proclamation recognizing September 2025 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Polk County joins communities across the nation in recognizing Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Suicide is one of the leading causes of death and is preventable. And we would like to raise awareness, reduce stigma, and connect people with support. We are grateful for the strong partnerships that we have with the Burke Center and with Serenity House, along with the efforts of the Sheriff's Office and specially trained mental health deputies who respond with care and connect residents to resources. And we encourage everyone to learn the signs of a crisis, promote open dialogue about mental health, and share information about resources like the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Together, we hope we can make a difference and remind our community that no one is alone. So I think we have representatives from Burke Center here. Do we have anyone here from Serenity House? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. No, you get over here. The show gets to be in the middle. Okay, so I do want to say thank you to all of you. Oh, she's with the clerk. I want to say thank you to all of you that are committed to helping people that are in distress. And obviously, we're a little partial, so we're thankful that you're here to help us with people in Polk County that have issues or need consideration.
Do we need the sheriffs to come up since we have?
If the middle officers are here, they need to come up. Anybody here?
We don't have any middle, they're off today.
Oh, okay.
Well,
They're working.
come on up. y'all both. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We have another update from the Polk County Wellness Committee regarding mental health wellness workshop for county employees. TAC is hosting a workshop for a mental health awareness workshop on September 25th. It's recognized for Suicide Prevention Month, and presentations will be held at Dunbar, and all employees are invited to attend. And it's an opportunity to learn more and support overall wellness. And there will be 2 opportunities for that day. And a flyer for the event was distributed on September 3rd and is also included in your packet for your review. So anyone that's interested, that's an employee, you need to consider getting educated in that area. Okay, our next informational report is from IT. Casey.
Good morning. Okay. I'm going to try and briefly explain to the court about IT projects, progress, and impacts. Completed and current projects that we have. Security cameras to include coordinating with vendor or doing in-house the wiring and setup of the upgraded camera systems at the JC, Annex, SO, Tax Office, Onalaska Sub Courthouse, Corrigan Sub Courthouse, Road and Bridge Precinct 4, and currently working on Aging and Road and Bridge 3 next. Panic button security systems, countywide panic button upgrade and museum security system overhaul. Tyler Technology Systems to include applicant tracking system going live, open enrollment and onboarding modules in progress. Completed the Judges Edition add-on for the court system, land and vital records for the county clerk's office is in development. Civic Plus software to include the court agenda module, next request module for open records requests for the county. Social media archiving, which have been completed. Civic Plus website conversion to include OEM and SO, which is currently in the beginning of the project phases and will hopefully go live in January. Network infrastructure by modernizing servers, installing 4 new firewalls, replacing 13 network switches, as well as 14 wireless access points across the county. Was awarded the state and local cybersecurity grant from the Office of the Governor that went to strengthening the county's cybersecurity backbone with the CrowdStrike Falcon's computer and server protection and Blue Iron backup solutions that is fully implemented. Facilitated the cybersecurity training for the entire county to be compliant for grants and ensuring all employees are up to date. Assisted with the move of the JPs to a cloud-based system with i3 Verticals, formerly known as NetData. New server implementation and complete rebuild at the Sheriff's Office that took roughly 6 weeks. Migrated the co.polk.tx.us county website over to polktx.gov. With that said, we are systematically moving email accounts over to this as well. Very slow process. Assisted with integrating the magistrate live video feed located at the Sheriff's Office jail courtroom. Ordered and set up LTE security cameras for the landfill. Migrated the DPS connection for dispatch jail, JP1, JP4, DA, and probation that runs criminal histories from satellite connection to a network connection. Completed a DPS CGIS technical audit, which we barely passed. Coordinated and assisted in installation of door access for dispatch to be compliant with CGIS. Assisted with the connection of the new vendor Silogist through the OAG office for the victims notification system. Ordered and assisted with the implementation of the new tax office server. Facilitated getting internet at Dunbar. Ran wiring for additions in office space. Completed 1,437 work orders that have been submitted, as well as the on-call person responding to all after-hours requests via phone call. Collaborated closely with the purchasing department to develop RFP for countywide phone solution. And then in progress currently, in between daily work orders and ongoing projects, we're doing PC builds for PC rotations, looking into kiosk solution for law library, been heavily involved in the courthouse restoration for the networking, access control, security cameras, and AV system for court. We'll be replacing wireless access points with newer ones, looking to find a vendor to assist with all of the data housed on the old NetData server to put in a readable, searchable format. Oversee the daily management of digital accounts, including creating access for new employees and removing access for departing staff. The IT department impacts the following. Employees by initiating an easier, faster workflow with less downtime. Residents by providing better service access, faster records, and improved security. And the county by ensuring compliance to federal, state, and local regulations, reducing and mitigating risk, thereby protecting county services, data, and public trust. In short, IT helps keep the county running smoothly, securely, and efficiently for everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Questions?
So Casey, everybody under 40 is totally impressed with everything you said. Everyone over 55 has no idea. But thanks for all your hard work. Okay, next section is old business, item number 4. Consider any and all necessary action regarding annual bids for the purchase of bid number 2026-01.08, number 2026-.02.08, all the way on through to the 04.08. Approval of these bids was tabled at the last August 26th meeting. The only company that placed bids for the application of type D hot mix asphalt concrete was CCC Blacktopping. The bid was the same for all 4 precincts at $20 a square yard or 1.5 inch depth after compaction and $24 per square yard for 2 inch depth after compaction. Do I have a motion on the bid?
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Robertson, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business, consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that anybody would like to pull? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Robertson.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Cassidy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business, your regular agenda. Consider resolution approving the issuance by the Colorado Health Facilities Authority of tax exempt bonds to finance and refinance certain projects for Memorial Health System of East Texas. We included a copy of the resolution and related certifications approving the issuance of bonds pursuant to the public hearing that was held earlier this morning prior to the scheduled meeting.
So,
Motion to approve,
Second.
Commissioner Purvis, second Commissioner Dubus, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 22, consider approval of personnel matters as follows. Personnel action form requests submitted by department heads since last meeting and review of any authorized emergency hires. We have no emergency hires at this time, and the PFs was included in your packet for your review. Need a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Cassidy, second.
Second.
Commissioner Dubus, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, update to Personnel Management System Book 1 and Book 2. These are all things that either had to be tweaked or that we've discussed, and so Human Resources has been working closely with Carrie on this. The first one, and this is basically new, is adding an HR advisory committee to support Human Resources Department and assist in circumstances where a conflict of interest exists or additional guidance is needed in handling a personnel matter. The committee will be members from their elected officials, but cannot be a member of the court, because should an issue go further than HR and go further than that committee, then it would come to the court. The court's the final say. So basically, what the recommendation is that we do just like we do the other committees, we just pull names out of a hat. So that's one. The clothing allowance is defined. There were some questions about the difference between uniform allowances and clothing allowance, so we defined the clothing allowance. Exemptions from FLSA. These sections are all new or revised sections of the current policy. Most of these were developed with the sheriff and the jail. If approved, then effective 9/22/2026, employees will no longer earn straight comp time. Exempt employees may earn exempt credit hours, which may never be paid out directly, but may be used to take time off. Law enforcement credit hours are accrued by the 207K exempt certified law enforcement officers and jailers on an hour-for-hour basis for time worked beyond 80 hours, up to a maximum of 86 hours within a designated work period. Any law enforcement credit hours exceeding 80 must be used before the end of the county's fiscal year. At that time, the remaining hours above 80 will be paid out to ensure the county's liability does not exceed 80 hours per employee. Law enforcement credit hours are compensated upon separation. Okay, this stops this crowding up that happens at the end of the year where those people lose time. Holidays worked. Holiday hours may only be used to take time off and will not be compensated in any time, including upon separation. This is the way the current policy is written, and this just makes it more clear. Keep in mind also that those people in law enforcement that work a holiday are getting paid additional funds. They're not just working, they are no longer working for comp time or whatever, they are being compensated. Emergency closing, the proposed changes would grant essential employees who are required to work during an emergency closure disaster pay, which is double their hourly rate for the number of hours worked during an emergency closure, up to the total amount granted for the closure. So this is in lieu of receiving administrative time. We're trying to get rid of all the administrative time, the comp time, with people that are never gonna get an opportunity to recoup that time. Because many essential employees are never able to take that administrative time. So during a declared disaster, the court has the opportunity to compensate overtime for essential personnel if it's deemed necessary. So all elected officials need to compile their list of their essential employees, and those lists should be accepted and approved by the Commissioners Court. Now, having said that, those assignments happen through emergency management. So you may have someone designated as an emergency employee, but they may not necessarily end up engaged in that emergency. That makes sense? I mean, if it's mostly a law enforcement emergency, then there's no reason why the commissioner's staff would be engaged.
But all of our employees will be considered in this.
Yes, sir, they're all going to be considered. All
Because if we
of
have,
maintenance,
Hurricane, floods.
that is
stuff like
correct.
that.
And
Need all
that's,
of our-
and that's why we wanna make that clear, that everybody needs to make sure that their employees are listed that way, because all of maintenance, all of IT, all of your employees,
All the sheriff.
all the sheriff's department, jail, emergency management, that's a given. But if we have someone that, okay, let's take, Bobby's office. A lot of times her office covers shelters, and so they become essential employees. Somebody has to be there. And somebody has to be willing to get trained, for Red Cross and so forth. But we need a list of those so that we're not, during that emergency, going, what if, who should we, why, which Courtney already has, but we just wanna make sure we put it in writing. On-call, section 613. This proposed change clearly defines the compensation for those employees that are engaged to wait or waiting to be engaged, and adds that employees that are on call will receive a minimum of 3 hours a day per work week at their regularly hour week, regardless of whether they're called into work. This is to cover those people that are basically on call on the weekend, and so they can't leave town, they can't go anywhere, but they are babysitting the county cell phone. So IT has people in that situation, emergency management has people in that situation, who else? Maintenance has people in that situation, and so, what we did is we checked with some of the surrounding areas, and this is similar to what East Tex and Chico do, where if you're stuck with a phone, then you get compensated, whether you get called out or not. If you get called out and you have to work more than 3 hours, well, then you're gonna get paid for those additional hours. Okay. And then we just said consolidating purchasing and procurement with grants and contracts, which was the original plan anyway. And aging services, veteran services, and social services, and everything was included for your review.
On the holiday stuff, to make this clear, so this actually, interferes with us too, as far as holidays. If my guys, if there's disaster or something comes in, they work holidays and stuff, so if they go to leave or something like that, so we're not gonna no longer pay them holiday time, is what this is basically saying.
Well, if they're in a disaster, they're in a different pay grade. You can't double dip. If it's a disaster, then that's separate and different from holiday time. When we're
Well, for
talking-
anybody though, but either way you look at it, if anybody leaves, I mean, we've always been compensated to holiday time in the county. So this is basically saying that you're actually taking that away from somebody that leaves and has holiday time, and put it on the books.
Okay, back up. When have we been compensated for holiday time?
The only time we haven't been compensated for is sick time.
No, the holiday for the general, for everybody else is a holiday. The people that end up stuck are those people that have to go to work on that day, or that have been forced to go to work on that day. And in that case, we are paying them additional money, because that's part of what was happening at the jail and the sheriff's office. They were having to work, and everybody else was getting a holiday. So basically, everybody else was getting a freebie, right? And they were having to work. So to encourage them, because they were having to work, and then they were getting credit for a day to occur at some other point in time. And so, but they were never able to reacquire some other point in time. And so now they get paid double for holiday time. We're already doing that. This is just a clarification.
So they won't be credited for, so if somebody leaves and has holiday time billed on the books, they won't be compensated for
We've never, that's never been paid out.
it. It's always been like that.
Can I,
Holidays been paid out, for sure. Yeah.
part of our policy has always been that it does not get paid out. Unfortunately, that was not what was actually happening.
But
The policy has just
has.
been rewritten to be more clear, so that there's not any confusion.
Yeah, the policy was vague. It didn't say you got paid out, it didn't say you didn't get paid, but everybody got paid out. When I retired in 2021,
So, I mean,
I got
it's
paid
been
out
like
my
that for
holiday
years.
time.
And so when we went to where we paid them twice, okay, where they're getting twice the money, then that eliminates that, because if you're not working on that day, why are we paying you on that day? Why are the taxpayers paying you on that day? And that is what the policy did originally intend and did originally say. It just was never enforced. But this portion right here has already been approved. We are tweaking what it says.
So basically what it's saying is, there will be no more accrued holidays.
Correct.
Because you're gonna be paid for them, so there won't be any holidays on the books.
That is correct.
No, it's some of
Hold on,
the.
let
No,
Carrie.
but that's what it says right here.
No, you're not gonna get paid. for it.
Okay, if you're a law enforcement officer, a deputy, or a jailer, then when you work a holiday, you get paid double for working on that holiday. That's the policy that was put in place some time ago. If you are any normal employee that works on the holiday, you would accrue that holiday time to take within the next 12 months. That's always been in the policy. What was not in the policy, but has been happening anyway, is if you have that time on the books when you separate from the county, you are getting paid for it. The policy actually does not say that you should get paid for that time upon separation. So, just because it's been happening, there's been pretense for it to continue happening. but we're just so clarifying the policy.
But it's been happening like that for,
It's been happening
How many
off and on.
This was news should have been news to the Commissioners Court, because the Commissioners Court set the policy, and no one had ever asked, hey, are we supposed to be paying this time out? Until the question was brought up, and we reviewed the policy, and it says, no, it says this is not time that's supposed to be paid out.
And so if you're another entity and other than law enforcement, and you accrue a holiday time, well then use it before you leave.
You have 12 months to
You have
use a
12 months
holiday
to
from the
use
time
it.
that you receive.
And that's the way the policy read, and we're trying to clean it up.
Well, there's still some law enforcement that accrue holidays. If they don't work, they get it on the book to take off.
Yes, correct.
So it's just not every law enforcement that get paid
No,
double
sir.
time. If they don't work it, they get on the books to take off.
That's
If
right.
they work it, they get paid double.
Correct. And that was the whole intention. The whole intention was if you've accrued holiday time, then you have 12 months to use it. And you can
How
get
do
an
they accrue it if they
extension.
don't work it?
Just like the other employees, you get it automatically. It's a benefit that the county provides.
Yeah, but
Or
I
to
mean,
come to work
but if,
here,
I
the
mean,
benefits.
if you're not working and it's a holiday, then
And it's a
you
holiday.
don't accrue it then, do you?
That's because deputies, we work 84 hours, and
Yeah.
the holiday doesn't fall in that time period, we still work 84 hours, where the rest of the county would work 72 hours but get paid for 80. So you compensate them.
And there are
That's what makes it even.
That is correct. That is what we're trying to do. We're trying to compensate those people that do not have the option of going to 4th of July fireworks with their families. That was the intention. But if you got a holiday, then that's a benefit that the county has provided to you. But you have, if you're gonna utilize that time, then you need to utilize it within 12 months. You can also ask for an extension from your elected officials, but it doesn't need to continue sitting on the books, because that is where the problem happens. Then you have someone come along, and then you owe them 6 months' worth of something. And so we're going back to where the policy actually says, not what we've habitually done. And we have compensating these people that are actually working on the holiday, not just receiving a holiday.
well, me personally, I'd rather just leave it like it is myself, like it's always been.
So we would have to rewrite the policy.
Then we'd have to rewrite the whole policy again, because this is what the policy says.
The first time we rewrote a policy.
It's way easier said than done, and then that means we're gonna have to take a look at everybody again, because it has to also be affordable to the taxpayers. And that is not affordable to the taxpayers, and it goes backwards. If you're now gonna compensate people for the holiday,
I just think it's another benefit you're taking away from employees. This is-
they're getting the
this is
holiday.
my-
They're getting the holiday. They just can't extend it past a year. So they're still getting the benefit. We are not taking any benefit away. We're structuring the benefit to where it will be used in a timely manner. That's two different things.
What happens if they're so short and they're not able to take it in 12 months because of all the other time they accrue, the comp time, the holidays, the vacation, and you can't take it? How
Well,
does
you
that
ask for
play?
an extension. That's when you get an extension from your elected official.
Right, but that
We've done
extension's
that.
only a couple of months. What happens if they still can't take it if you accrue so much time?
That's what we're trying to avoid. It's the accrual of so much time that we're trying to avoid. So used to, you would have accrued all that time, right? Because you would have been working holidays. But now we're paying you for the holidays, so that holiday is gonna be off the books. It's gonna be gone. And so now the only accrual will be in other form or fashion that you've accrued. If you accrue that, then you will have, and the exception was made for all of you all, that if you get called in, say it is your vacation, and say you were gonna take it, and you get called in, you're gonna get compensated for those hours, you're gonna be paid. Instead of it being comp time that's accrued, so you shouldn't get into that. That's the whole purpose of this, is to try to clean it up for you all, make sure you're compensated for your time on holidays, and so then that takes it off the accrual, right? That should remove it. And if it doesn't, we'll take another look at it, again.
On the exemption time, if I turn in a timesheet with just 2 hours for one day, HR is gonna pull 6 hours from my books to make that an 8-hour day, correct?
Oh, now you're getting way over my pay grade, that's an HR question.
So if you're a 207K employee, then you have to account for at least 80 hours on your timesheet in that 2-week period.
Right.
If you work 72 hours in that 2-week period, then they will pull 8 hours from your accrued time to make 80.
Okay, let's say I do that, but if I work 150 hours in that pay period and I'm an exempt employee, all that extra time just goes away and
No,
it's not
sir.
compensated?
No.
No, sir.
No,
They're
You said
both-
it wasn't
The
compensated.
law enforcement credit hours is being built into this policy.
Right.
So anything worked between 80 and 86 hours, you're gonna accrue time by hour for hour worked.
I'm talking about
And-
exempt employees.
Okay,
Exempt is what I'm
No,
talking about.
no.
fully exempt
We've
Fully
employees,
exempt.
you'll have exempt credit hours that you would have to use.
That-
I am in the same position.
That we're not allowed to get paid for, but that's hours we work. But if I turn in
And
50 hours, you're
that-
gonna pull my time away to make 80 hours.
Okay, but here's the thing, every single exempt employee is in exactly the same boat
Right.
with that. Because that is why exempt employees are at a higher pay grade as well. Now, I would not advise you work 150 days of 150 hours.
That's
when you
hard to
s-
say, because we
Well,
put in
But
a
I'm
lot of time.
just saying that that's where you should be taking time off, you should be making accommodations. And I understand, that's part of why we're trying to get the holiday time off. Now, if y'all want us to go back and rework all of the holiday and look at all of that again, we certainly will. But we cannot keep doing this, and we can't keep saying, oh, well, that's the way we used to do it. That, we need to follow a policy and adjust to it, but we also need to make sure that taxpayers can afford it. So, the court needs to let me know how you wish to proceed with these things. We already know you wanna give them whatever, everything. There has to be, there has to be an ending somewhere. And exempt employees, by virtue of their definition, are paid more because they are expected to spend more time from time to time. Casey's in that boat, Carrie's in that boat, maintenance is in that boat, the DA's office. So we have multiple employees that are in that situation, not just law enforcement.
I'm not talking just law, I'm talking about anybody that puts in that amount of hours. Like I said, if I turn in
Takes
50
our
hours,
guys,
you're
that's-
drawing
Yes,
my
sir,
time away from
and I
If I
understand.
put in 150, you're not giving me nothing for it.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So-
and I understand. It's not just law enforcement.
Right.
I mean, during emergency management, we sleep in there. Which you all do too, everybody does. So we all are gonna have situations like that. But if it's an emergency, then those are different categories. And all of this, we've had HR involved, we've had TAC involved, we've worked with everybody to try to get these things as clarified as possible and as fair as possible across the board.
Well, other than the holidays,
Okay?
I don't understand and with my kidney stones and stuff being affected me this week, I didn't have a whole lot of time to really check into it last week and really come up and talk to really anybody about it. This consolidating the purchasing and, the grants and all these other departments and stuff like that. Just trying to figure, where does it save us money? And why are we, joining these departments and why can't we keep them like they are?
Well, because they're all separate departments, which means that timesheets become cumbersome, a lot of the workload becomes cumbersome, but you want, the original intention, before you came on board, was that the purchasing and procurement coordinator be with grants and contracts, because grants lead to contracts, contracts lead to grants. Procurement leads to grants, and procurement leads to contracts. And so all of that needs to work together in conjunction. And so now that we're moving forward, making a true department, right, then you need all of those people to be geographically closer. That will allow Nicole and Jessica and their support staff to all work together in conjunction with one another. I've discussed it at length with Jessica and with Nicole, and they are all in agreement that that would be the most efficient use of taxpayer monies and taxpayer time, not to mention their own. Instead of having to run back and forth, send emails, you know, I misunderstood that, I forgot that, wait a minute, come back, then this centralizes the services. And it makes, now, you have one person that's support personnel for two people, makes ordering paper, Xerox machines, telephones, everything more efficient. And the same thing happens with social services. With social services, we have veterans over here that do some social services. We have social services over here, and then we have aging. Originally, aging was listed under social services. When Barbara left, Barbara's the one that said, oh, you can go ahead and split them. Well, it has been inefficient. You need to have your social services all compiled together. Multiple years in a row, Melissa has asked for a secretary. We can't afford to have a secretary at Veterans, but we can afford to make someone available to her that can answer the phone, they can be available, and they can help her provide those services efficiently. So it's all for efficiency, it's to improve services to the taxpayers and and support to our staff.
Yeah, that's very logical. I mean, it makes sense. I agree.
Yeah, that's just consolidating services.
But like I said, I hadn't really had too much time to check into it and stuff, to really go over a lot of stuff.
Well, and we've been talking about that for 2 or 3 months as well. We've been talking about that since we started the budget in April.
But I know by talking to some of the staff people and stuff too, that, you know, they really wasn't happy with the move either, so.
Okay, well then you're gonna have to be more specific about that and let us know.
Well, I think we need to look at the big picture, and like I said, this makes sense, it'd be so much more effective.
It's way more efficient, and way more effective.
So as a commissioner, like, I want to go talk to Melissa or Nicole, and I can just go talk to them, I don't have to go to the head department?
No,
Okay.
no, nothing changes. I
Okay.
mean, if you wanna talk to Grady, you go talk to Grady. If you wanna talk to Nicole, you go talk to Nicole. Casey, any of her staff, I mean, it doesn't stop anything. None of the functions are gonna stop. Okay, none of the functions are gonna stop.
Okay.
But we can't keep doing this spraddle-legged thing of, okay, she needs a secretary, and that one needs a secretary, and this one needs this, when it's inefficient use of our taxpayers' dollars.
Well, who's supervisor? Who's over who?
Who's over who, where?
In these positions, I mean, you take the two department heads and you combine them together. So-
Well, the procurement is going to go under grants and contracts, because that was the original way it's set up to begin with. But it doesn't stop the functioning of I'm assuming you're mostly focused on that department.
Hmm?
Okay.
Well, no, because it was also brought to me about the veterans and stuff too, so. yeah.
Okay, well,
You know, so I mean,
visited.
I'm concerned about the employees because they actually brought it to my attention.
Oh, okay.
Not wanting to join those things because they don't feel like that they should have to answer to certain people because, I mean, they've had this job title. Why should they be yanked from that title?
They're
You know
not
what I mean?
yanked for their title, the function is the same. Go
But they're-
ahead,
But
go
they're
ahead,
having to
hold on.
report to somebody that they shouldn't have to report to.
I'm fine.
Nicole, go ahead.
I'm good.
I'm fine. Just so everybody is clear, I'm okay with the change.
So,
It just makes it all more efficient. And one of the goals of the court has always been to be more efficient, to consolidate services, and to provide the best services we can for our taxpayers. That is what these things do. While trying to provide good services or good benefits to our employees. That's what every one of these things does.
well, those are my two concerns,
Okay,
whatever y'all decide. I guess.
okay. Can I have a motion to approve all of Carrie's hard work?
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Robertson, move to approve. I'm not looking at you because that's certainly not in there.
Do,
I need a second.
oh. I mean, I don't see a real big problem with it, but I just really like to read over it some more myself, but I mean, if one of them wanna make a second, and do that.
It's also gonna affect payroll for the town.
I can't help it, I don't wanna make
That's
a
fine.
decision.
That's fine. Commissioner Purvis?
I'll make a motion to table till next court.
Okay. Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Cassidy, motion to table. Okay, you're gonna have to send us information on what you want, including specifics. Very well, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm gonna oppose because I'm tired of working on this. Okay, now item number 23, consider request for revisions and amendments to the budget as follows. A, FY 2025 budget revisions and amendments, and FY 2026 amendments as presented by the County Auditor's Office. A copy of the proposed revisions, number 2025-18, and amendments 2025-18A, and 2026-1A is included for your review.
Approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dubose, second.
Second.
Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 24, consider request for capital purchases to be paid from general fund balance and included on the FY 2026 reimbursement resolution for year-end issuance of legally authorized debt as follows. Overall, the capital purchases for the FY 2026 have been approved to date, have been approximately $100,000 below the previous estimates that were included in the approved capital purchase projection listing. And the updated estimates that we have received for the equipment for the sheriff's office are on the agenda, are slightly higher than previously estimated, but we will still be below the overall amount. So you have A, aftermarket equipment installed by Texas Fleet Outfitters on 9 leased vehicles for the sheriff's office in the amount of $207,587.40. Approving this item today will ensure the sheriff's office can take possession of the new vehicles as soon as possible after the start of the new fiscal year. The proposals currently under consideration cover aftermarket equipment for 6 patrol vehicles and 3 CID police responder vehicles. Copies of the estimates we have now are included in your review. For your awareness, the total amount that was approved for the sheriff's aftermarket equipment on the capital purchase projection listing is $249,130. The total cost, if these estimates are approved, will be $251,365.60.
So,
Motion to approve, Commissioner Purvis, second, Commissioner Robertson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. B, Aftermarket equipment installed by Texas Fleet Outfitters on leased vehicles for Constable Precinct 1 in the amount of $14,657.62. Approval of this item today will allow the constable to take possession of his new vehicles as soon as possible after the start of the new year, and a copy of that estimate was included for your review.
I'll make the motion.
Motion Commissioner Robertson, second Commissioner Dubus. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. C, cabinets and shelving for county clerk land records purchased from Datum Storage Solutions in the amount of $69,516.02. The shelves and cabinets that are used to store the county clerk's land records have to be designed to fit the space, that we have to maximize the amount of records that can be housed. Shalana has found a more cost-effective option that was originally included in the approved capital purchase projection listing, and that estimate with the proposed drawings is also included for your review.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 25, consider approval to advertise bid number 2026-11 for the purchase of 2 pickup trucks for Road and Bridge Precinct 2 to be paid from Road and Bridge Precinct 2 FY 2026 budget. Commissioner Dubus requested this agenda item, and Nicole Reeks has prepared the bid packet, which is included for your review. I'm assuming this is coming from you, Commissioner Dubus.
Yes, ma'am, I approve.
Second?
Second.
Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 26, consider nominations by resolution for Polk Central Appraisal District Board members for the 2026 term. A copy of the appraisal district correspondence regarding the nomination procedure was included for your review. Each entity may nominate 1 candidate for each of the 5 board positions. Once the nominations of all entities are received, then the PCAD will distribute the listing, and the matter will be placed on a future agenda for the court to cast the county's voting entitlement. The current voting members of the PCAD board are Mike Nettles, Tom Curran, Dan Ellis, Paul David Evans, and Steve Houlihan. And Tatum is on the board, but is not a voting member. So you need to come prepared for who the nominees, and if you have any other nominees that need to be considered or that would be interested, please notify us so we can let Chad know, so that we add it to the list. Okay, 27. Discuss and take any and all necessary action on construction bids received on the General Land Office Community Development Block Grant, Housing and Urban Development, most impacted and distressed water infrastructure projects as follows. We have Susan here, and we have representatives from Waxman. A, GLO contract number 24-065-044-E536. This GLO contract covers the water infrastructure upgrades for Leggett Water Supply Company, Shiloh Ridge Water Supply Company, and Soda Water Supply. When these projects were originally awarded in 2021, Leggett Water Supply Company was prepared to spend $252,000. However, due to the delays from GLO on the funding, their cost has done what everyone else's did and has risen to $371,142.50, and they're unable to authorize that amount. Susan, you want to come? Let's give the court details on that.
Happy to answer any specific questions. We bid it with 3 packages, Leggett, Shiloh, and Soda as 3 separate packages. And when Jim Owens with Goodwin Lasser and Jed Morris as well analyzed all the bids and so forth, and once Leggett declined, we were able to award the package for Shiloh, which is package B, and Soda, which is package C. And we were also allowed to use some of the grant funds that would have gone to the Leggett project to, toward the Soda and the Shiloh projects, but they still maintained their 25% match for construction and engineering.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so Letters, copies of the letters from all the water supplies and the recommendation letter from GLS were also included for your review. And basically what has had to happen is that people have had to cut their projects back because of the cost. But we're trying to shift things around as much as GLO will allow, because GLO does have some serious restrictions on that. So I need a motion to approve A.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Robertson, second Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. B, GLO contract number 24-065-045-E537. Okay, this GLO contract covers the water infrastructure upgrades for Dallardsville, Segno Supply Company, and Damascus Stryker Water Supply Company. When these were awarded in 2021, Dallardsville Segno was prepared to spend $128,750. However, due to the delays in receiving this type of funding from GLO, their cost has risen to $172,587.50. So they too have decided that they need to back out of that agreement. You wanna give us an update on that one?
Absolutely. Same scenario. Because of the way we structured the bids with a package A and a package B, we are able to award package B for Damascus Stryker. And similarly, there are some funds that would have been used for Dallardsville that are also now be able to be used for Damascus Stryker, provided they provided their 25% match, which they have. We also were able to shift some funds over to the street project, which is the only other project in that grant to cover the overage, which is around $5,000, $4,000 and change on Commissioner Purvis's projects. Just so everybody understands, what Judge mentioned, the GLO now does not allow for any new project for any reason. I can't add another 500 linear feet to an existing road project. It is, what you ask for is all you get. So when we do have funds left over in situations like this, where a water system declines to move forward, we can only use that money within the existing projects of the grant. So going forward, we still have the two buildings to bid and award in the bigger grant, and we have road work in all 4 precincts that may come into overages due to change orders and so forth. So at this point, we're not saying, oh, we can't use the money. It's holding on to that money and seeing where we can use it without having to refund it to the general land office.
We're working desperately not to return.
Exactly,
to GLO.
exactly. I can answer any other questions that may arise, or you all know my phone number and you can call me anytime.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Dugas, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, number 28, discuss Senate Bill 1173, which has lifted the requirement for competitive bids from $50,000 to $100,000 and considering any and all necessary action related to the Polk County purchasing policy. Texas law requires local government entities to utilize a competitive procurement process if the local government is purchasing an item or service that exceeds $50,000. SB 1173 simply raises that local government competitive procurement threshold from $50,000 to $100,000. State law requires that counties adhere to their own purchasing policies if those policies are stricter than the policies set by the state. So if the court wishes to increase our competitive bid purchasing threshold, that will require an update to our policy, which is fine, but we need some guidance from the court on how you would like to proceed.
Well, I'm sure glad it raised to 100,000. This sure helps.
I'll make a motion to change our policy.
A second.
Okay, then can we also have some guidance on what that means to departments? Not just to commissioners, but what does it mean to departments?
I would it not work for the departments also, do the same thing.
Okay.
expensive now, you know. And then we are counties, and then there's, when they work with the auditor or the.
Well, no, there's no
purchasing.
doubt, everything is more expensive. Everything is more expensive.
Also, this,
And we don't have, you know, really strict policies on how we proceed on that. What we've done in the past is we've just said that they needed to have 2 or 3 bids, or that they needed to find it on buy board, you know, things like
Absolutely.
that. I just don't know, what I need to know is, do you all wanna tell the department heads as well, you know, you have 100,000 cap, or do you wanna make it lower, or what do you wanna put
I
anything
didn't
in there?
think theirs was at 50 now. I thought they had to come before us. before
Yours
that.
is at 50, just like anything else.
I'd like to leave it as a department head, they have to answer to us, I'm gonna leave it 50, we have to answer to the voters. As a department head, I'm definitely gonna leave it 50, and I don't have a problem leaving ours at 50.
Yeah.
Well, it's all good to leave it, I mean, there's nothing wrong with going out for bids either way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my only thing.
I'm just glad it did change to 100, you know what I mean? So.
Don't get in trouble.
That's the reason I would want to raise, I mean, cause as much as things have went up, you know.
Yeah, and you
Or we
all,
can table it and everybody go back and think about how they wanna do it.
Carrie
has something.
Carrie?
go ahead, Carrie.
I'm sorry, if I may, the competitive threshold for everyone is 50,000. We would raise that to 100,000. Everything else could stay the same. I believe if it's over 25,000, then it has to come to Commissioner's Court.
Well, that's what I thought.
That's what our
So,
normal
if we could just
policy
leave it
has
at the
been.
same, then-
That's what I thought.
So
I mean,
let's leave it for department heads as it is, lift the threshold for
Us.
elected officials and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just would hate to look up and have a department spend $99,000 and the court go, whoa, what did
Well, I didn't
happen?
think they could do that.
No.
We voted in, they can't.
We're trying to make sure that they don't.
That was our policy already
No, we
said that they
have,
can't.
we have
Yeah.
stricter policy
Yeah,
that
that's
puts
what I thought.
requirements. My question is, do you wanna leave those in place?
Yes.
Okay.
Other than ours.
Other than-
But I mean, this is just, I mean,
Other than elected officials.
and you know, if it's gonna cost that much, we're gonna go out for bids for it anyway.
And that's right, that's
But I mean,
right.
this keeps Shelley from coming after us sometime if we do it, if we don't do it.
Okay. So we're gonna maintain our policy as it is, with the exception of lifting it to 100,000
Yes, ma'am.
for elected officials, for all elected officials.
Ms. Carey's got something else.
So, I think y'all are good on that. I'm sorry, but after this one, can we go back to number 26? Because we do need to get that resolution for those nominations decided today.
Did we skip 26?
No, we said it, but
We said it, we
need to
didn't
see
vote.
if, are we keeping those same folks? Do they have any nominations for new individuals?
Well,
let,
Yeah, no, we're supposed to come back.
Come out with somebody.
No, that was how they were supposed to come prepared today with that information, if they wanted
gotcha.
to have you.
well, then we, I guess I need I
So
need
moved.
To keep the same.
to maintain.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Robertson, keep the same ones. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Okay, we're good for that then. Okay, number 29, discuss and consider any and all.
we just had
Hold on.
28.
Yeah, we're gonna vote on that. Commissioner Cassidy, would you like to make a motion?
So moved. Thank you, Commissioner Harvey.
So that's for all elected officials?
That's my question. Now, IT does purchase expensive things, the sheriff purchases expensive things, but I don't see the treasurer going crazy spending $100,000.
Well, I'm very sure gonna submit ours to Commissioner's Court.
Yeah, it's gotta be in the budget either. That'd be fine.
So it comes as a motion from Commissioner Purvis.
Here with me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cassidy, Purvis, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 29, Discuss and consider any and all necessary action relating to the distribution of discretionary salary pool funds. The approved budget has a discretionary salary pool in it of $343,000. We reviewed the options that you all requested that we bring to you. If the court were to increase the base step of the correction officers and the dispatchers by 2 steps, that would be applying a 2-step increase to each person in those positions, including the correction officer and shift supervisor. That would reduce the amount of available funding to approximately $255,000 would be left in the pot. So that would be basically around $89,000 for those 2. Then you could also move forward, you could do a 4-step increase instead of a 2 with a 3,000, and that would take the corrections pay officer would be $6,500 basically, and dispatcher on step 1, it would be an increase of $6,300. So then you have the remainder of the money. That would be split proportionally, or could also include the sheriff's office and the jail. So basically, it would be, the request that you all made to us was to take a look at dispatchers and correctional officers, with taking them all at least a step higher, so that would be 2 steps higher, would cost $88,000. And then, you could still hire the correctional officers and the dispatchers at a step higher to begin with, because that would move everybody up and allow for the vacant spots to have additional monies. Historically, now part of it is based on salaries, because some of our higher paid, our largest congregation, I guess I should say, of higher paid salaries are in either the sheriff's office or in the DA. And when I say sheriff's office, I'm including the jail. And historically, of the discretionary salary pool, approximately half of it goes to the sheriff's office. So if you split it 50-50, then you'd have $171,000, $171,500 that would go strictly to the sheriff for him to use at his discretion. And Andy has already expressed the fact that the sheriff would like for most of it, if not all of it, to go to the jail, which would allow all of them to be hired at a step higher and go that direction. So basically, those are just the numbers that you requested. You still have the $343,000 that you need to decide how they would be distributed in the general fund.
Now, my whole thing on the discretionary funds is that I've talked about it the past 3 times in Commissioner's Court, was giving them 75% of the $285,000. That was the first discretionary funds that was brought up 3 or 4 Commissioners' Court ago that I agreed to stick with, which is only $213,000 that would go to the sheriff to distribute out to the jail and stuff. That's what I'm requesting.
How much?
213 out of 343.
75% of the $285,000. There's only $213,000 to be distributed to the sheriff's office.
Well, what's the difference in giving the 2 steps to the, or giving the jailers and all the raise, splitting it? what's the difference?
Well, there is no difference. You're
Talking about in the 75%, or?
Well, he was basing it off of the 285.
I was basing it off just the original
But-
285, not the 343.
I'm just sitting there looking, I hadn't run the numbers.
So what was
I don't see where it's gonna be a big difference either way.
215?
213.
213. Okay, so the difference is that basically you would have 120, 130,000 to split amongst all the other employees.
All the
Based
rest
on
of the
that math.
departments, just-
All of the general fund, other than the sheriff and the jail.
That's what I'm saying, what's the difference in?
40,000. If you did an even split on the 343.
Now, what's the difference? I mean, if you give all the jailers and the dispatchers a raise, and then split the 255, there's not hardly any difference. Period.
No, sir. Unless you-
And the 255 is gonna split equally because that's the way it.
Well,
the way it
normally the
falls.
255 would have included the dispatchers and the jailers. Right?
Yeah.
It makes no difference, that's what I'm saying, is that you all are gonna have to give us some guidance. If you wanna pull those out, that's fine. And what that leaves,
My math was just
Did-
easier.
But I guess what we're worried about is the jailers and the dispatchers right now.
well, and I think by Andy, mostly we're worried about the jailers. And so if you did
You got it
the,
right here where you gonna give them a 2-step or a 4-step.
that's what you all asked us to look at, and so we broke it down. We're 2-step, and then we went in and did a 4-step, so you could kind of see what the numbers were gonna look like.
Andy, you got any comments about this?
Well, I'm not just worried about jail, I'm worried about the whole department. You know, we're six short
Yeah,
on
we
the
know
street.
that,
But we need to figure out a way to fix the jail so we bring these inmates back from Louisiana and we're wasting taxpayers' money over there. That is the goal at this point in
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
So that's our goal and the jail has to be fixed first.
Okay, so on the one, if you did the 50-50, if you did the 171, keep in mind that also in the general fund, we do have the district attorney's office that also needs to be able to receive some discretionary funds, and they are the more higher paid employees.
But what I'm saying though is if right now we're trying to get the jailers straight, why don't we give them the 4-step and
Okay, we can't decide the steps, we decide the money. I'm giving
then
you.
why the hell y'all put it
So you would have a visual of what it would cost. I'm trying to give you a visual on what it would cost.
Shelley?
The 4-step raise, where would you start a jailer at then? Based on when you were running your numbers at 2-step?
You're gonna have to ask the sheriff what he would do. That's up to him. All we can allocate is the money. I just put it on here based on our current pay scale and based
Right.
on who is who and where's where. So all we did is go through the payroll, look to see who's on step 1, who's on step 2, who's on step 8, right? And look and see where the natural breaks were to provide the information for the court to look at. But the sheriff decides what he's going to do with his money. We are just telling you that this is what it would cost the sheriff to get there.
Your jailers and stuff will start out with the pay scale is out now, except I think they're agreeing to move 1 step.
That's what we're trying to
So
do.
there's no change
1 step.
in the yearly salary for a jailer. It's just the ones that are working, that's currently working, is what they're working on now.
No,
No, she's saying even your unfilled positions.
And, hold on just a second.
Okay, okay.
No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that you would lift those, that people, when you hired people in, would automatically start at a higher level.
By what step?
Step 3.
3,
If-
3? Oh, okay.
If the court were to give the 2 steps to the corrections officers and the dispatchers, dispatchers.
Yes.
And then split up the remainder, then you could give an additional 2 steps, if you had the sufficient funds to give an additional 2 steps. So that's how you could get to that 4-step increase.
That's
for
right.
those positions.
I get what you're saying on that, but we're talking about the empty positions, you don't
The empty
automatically start
positions
out
are
at
empty.
three.
Position.
So every single corrections officer position and every single dispatcher position would be at least a step 3.
Okay,
But wherever they are right now, adding 2 steps.
so it would start out at step 3.
They would start out at step three,
I don't
step
know.
3.
I don't have a pay scale in front of me. Do you know what that would be?
That's plus the 3,000, right?
So,
Yeah.
Correct.
44.
I can get that for you. I don't,
Oh,
Then everybody
but I get what you're saying now.
Everybody's getting a $3,000 raise across the board. Okay, so then our proposal is that if you do this, then your vacant positions will be making more money, but we can't put more money in a vacant position and not take those people that were on step 1 or step 2 and not take them up.
2%.
Right? Yeah, so we're trying to get them elevated. This is just to illustrate. Again, if you take it and just split it down the middle, then each side gets 171,500. You can take this into consideration, you can take that into consideration, whatever you wanna take into consideration. That was just to show you what the impact would be, that you're talking about over $6,000 easily. For jailers, and we left dispatchers in there. But again, all the court has the authority to do is allocate X amount of dollars to the sheriff's office and X amount of dollars to the jail. Then the sheriff decides what direction that money's gonna go.
But if you did the 50, go ahead.
I'd say give them the 2-step increase and split the rest. I'll make a motion for that. I'm second it or whatever, that's what I feel.
Okay, so you're saying take out the 88,000 and split the rest in the middle,
Yeah, whatever the 2 steps is.
okay? Click your thing back on.
That's Randy says he'll give them the 2 steps.
Okay, so you take 43 minus the 88. So you're taking 255,000. Dividing that by 2. So that would give, the general fund, $127,500 to split amongst every department. And then you have the 127. Double checking myself. And that would give the jail and the sheriff, 215,500.
So you said 215,000 total for the sheriff department.
For the jail and the sheriff's office. And then, this is where we would start out, right, with the 2 steps, and then put the rest of it in the jail.
If you have a remaining balance of 343,000.
No, there's no remaining balance, no.
Well, not remaining, not the difference, we'd have the difference.
No, the general fund would then receive $127,500 to the sheriff's $215,500. Correct? because the total amount of money available is $343,000.
total.
Actually, my figures earlier was 213, this is only just $2 more, so
You see?
basically.
Only 2,000, 2,500, yeah.
Well, yeah, two.
No, no.
That's what I say, it's the same
So
difference.
it's,
Yeah, that's why Milt kept saying it's the same difference. Okay? Okay, so, let me repeat, we're gonna put enough money in the sheriff's office for the two-step increase, right? And then for the dispatchers, and then the remainder of the monies will all go into the jail.
Say it again?
No,
How much we talking total? 300?
We have a total of $343,000.
We're talking about giving 100% of it to the sheriff department.
No, we're talking about giving $215,500 to the sheriff and the jail.
we're gonna give them enough to give everybody in the jail if I'm reading this right, what it says is we're gonna give them enough money to give everybody in the jail and all the dispatchers a two-step increase,
That is correct.
okay?
And
And we'll
then-
split the 255.
Split the 255 between whom?
The sheriff department and everybody else.
Okay, so that's where I am.
Yeah, well,
You said $127,500.
yeah, but you said it all went to the jail, it only goes to the.
I'm
sheriff.
doing that based on what Andy had requested before, because we assign, it either goes to the sheriff or the jail. So, where do you want me to put the money?
So I thought you said that the jail and the sheriff get 215,000. Is
That is what being proposed. What's being
Okay.
proposed is
Yeah.
$215,500 go to the sheriff and jail.
Get 127,500. Is that what?
That's what goes to the general fund. So that's what covers every other department.
Yeah. And that's what say, kidding, they're half of the employees. And we're trying to help the jailers.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm just,
So then we just split the other between the.
between the other
You split- you
departments,
split
there was only
between the-
$92,000 distributed to each department last year. So,
But-
I mean,
but-
so you actually still have more.
I'm saying, but the 127.5, then, I don't know how you split it between the jail and the sheriff department.
well, and
I
that's
mean,
fine.
That's, I mean, but they're half of the deal.
And if that's the way you wanna do it, that's the way we're gonna put the money in there. I just need to know half for the jail, half for the sheriff, but cover the corrections officers. So you can cover-
That's the main thing I'm after right now.
Okay, well then we will cover it, and then we will take the remainder, and we'll put half of it in the jail, and we will put half of it in the sheriff's office.
Okay, Iris got to be
And
done,
then
whatever,
the rest,
y'all are complicated out of this.
I say give them the 215 and let them do what they said they was gonna do. Because you already,
for budgeting purposes, I have to say where it's going. I can't just say, oh, here, do
well, I
whatever
know
you wanna
that,
do.
I know that.
I have to put it here or here.
So let's say,
So what the judge is saying
You got
is,
215
you do the
going.
215.5 to sheriff's department, she's going to have to decide what goes to jail, what goes to sheriff's department.
Yes, I just.
So with that being said, I just need y'all to,
So we're gonna
if
give-
we're
we're gonna
good
give the jailers
with
and the
me using
dispatchers-
some of the sheriff's department for the jail, and that's how it's gonna work, that's great.
And that's all I have to do.
Okay, we're gonna give them a two-step raise, the jailers and the deal, give them that, and then split
That's
the
your-
127.5
that's your
for the
original-
sheriff department and the jail.
That is correct. That would be the original
Yeah.
88,000, plus we're going to give them 215.5.
No.
Or no, that's the total.
127.
The total. Got it.
Yeah, but they split the 127 between the jail and the sheriff.
Correct.
Okay. So moved.
Commissioner Murphy.
Second.
Second. Oh, come on, surely someone can give me a second.
Second.
Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye.
Still bouncing numbers now.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Purvis.
That's motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye. See you later.
It's not very, very slow.
I cannot just say I hand this over to the